Hello everyone. In this video, we're going to be doing an example of the cosine sum of difference formulas. So cosine of A plus B and cosine of A minus B. In this one, we're given that sine of A is 35 over 37. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and draw our figure. And it doesn't matter where you put A. You can put A up here. You can put it down at the bottom, like I said again. So the opposite value, we're going to label that first. If you put your finger on A, this is the opposite side because it's the one you're not touching. The one across from the hypotenuse, that's going to be your, or from the right angle, it's going to be the hypotenuse, and then the other one is going to be the adjacent. So since we're working with sine here, we're working with the opposite over the hypotenuse. So our opposite side is 35, and our hypotenuse is 37. Okay, so the reason we're doing this is because we do need cosine of A in order to figure out this problem. So cosine is using the adjacent side. We are going to have to solve for the adjacent side by doing A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Remember, the C is the hypotenuse, so let's do our A, 35. We're finding B, and our C is 37. Okay, so 35 squared, let's go type that in. Okay, 35 squared. Okay, that's going to be 1,225. And our 37 squared, that's going to be 1369. Okay, and now we're going to be solving here. So we're going to subtract the 1225. And we're going to get B squared equals 1369 minus the 325. So this is going to be 144. And whenever you take the square root of 144, you are going to get 12. You actually get negative 12 as well, but we're only working with positive values here because we're talking about sides. Okay, so now we know the adjacent side is 12, and we can start solving for the cosine now. So cosine of A is the adjacent over the hypotenuse. So this is going to be 12 over 37. Okay, so now let's go with our second scenario. Which is our cosine of B equals 24 over 25. And by the way, we already had sine of A, which is one of the values that we're using. So that's why we didn't solve there for the sine of A. Okay, so cosine of B, let's set up this scenario. My right triangles are not very good today, but that's all right. So let's say this one is B. My opposite side is the one I'm not touching, so this is my opposite. The one across from the hypotenuse, for the right angle is the hypotenuse, and the other one is the adjacent. So since we're working with cosine, we're working with the adjacent over the hypotenuse. So the adjacent is 24. The hypotenuse is 25. And we do need to find the opposite so that we can find the sine. So we're going to do A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So remember, the C is the hypotenuse, so we're going to do 24 squared plus B squared equals 25 squared. Okay, so 24 squared, let's go type that in. And what we can actually do is just say 25 squared minus 24 squared, because that's what we're going to be doing here. So we're going to get 49. So that means that B squared equals this 49, so we're going to do the square root. And that means that B equals 7. So this opposite side here is 7, and now we can find the sine of B, which is the opposite over the hypotenuse. So the opposite is 7, and the hypotenuse is 25. Now that we have all the values, we can go ahead and plug into the formula. Okay, so let's go plug into this formula using these values. So we're first going to find cosine of A plus B. And that formula is cosine A cosine B minus sine A sine B. So kind of weird because it's a plus formula, but we're actually using the minus. But let's plug these in. Cosine of A was 12 over 37. Cosine of B was 24 over 25. Sine of A is 35 over 37. And sine of B is 7 over 25. Okay, we're going to go type that in. We're going to click the fraction button, and we're going to find this answer. So we have 12 over 37 And like I said, you can do this in a graphing calculator if you just hit math, enter, convert it to a fraction. Okay, minus 35 over 37 and times 7 over 25. Okay, so this is our cosine of a plus b. We do need to convert to a fraction, write this in simplest form. So we're going to get 43 over 925. All right, and just like before, the only difference between the cosine of a plus b and the cosine of a minus b is that this minus is actually a plus. So let's go change this to a plus, and we'll get our cosine of a minus b. Plus. Okay, so this is going to be 533 over 925. All right, hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know if you have any questions. I would be very happy to help you out. Goodbye.